Anything you want to focus on?
I'd like to point out that the current budget report looks dire, but that's because all of our expenditures that were made with carryover funds are reported as current year budget expenditures. And removing the $29,865 of carryover that we used puts us at a yearly total. We're currently at 61.4% of budget expended, 58% of the year. So we're slightly ahead of schedule. And you can see that the main driver has been employee hours.
And those will be picking up, obviously, here in the next few months as well, too, right?
The employee hours will pick up. We have a plan to keep a cap on them better than we did in the spring. We understand the streaming process better for sports than we did in the spring. And we anticipate some additional revenue coming in from our partnership with Hometown Broadcasting that will help offset that. So my summary is that we're slightly ahead right now, and it looks very close, but there's no reason to expect that we will not finish at or below budget by the end of the year.
Can you talk a little bit more about the partnership with Hometown Broadcasting? What can we expect from them, and what does that look like? What is the history of that?
The history of that is that it's informal, and that we're sharing in-game advertising revenue with Hometown Broadcasting. We're providing content, and Hometown is rebroadcasting the audio from our video stream, and then we're sharing 50% of in-game revenue. And we started doing that with basketball last season and through the spring football season. And everyone seemed happy. Hometown Broadcasting was happy with the quality of the stream, and we're happy with the additional revenue.
Great.
And we think that we should continue it for a number of reasons, not the least of which being that this is Ripon Community Media, and it helps keep attention throughout the community. It raises the Ripon Channel's profile, and it helps Hometown Broadcasting because they didn't have any way to cover that.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Riley on the budget? Other reports, programming update, operations, legislative, you want to hit them all in one quick bite if you want?
Legislative, the Assembly did finally listen to lobbyists earlier this spring, thanks to help from many cable operators and many city administrators and legislative bodies, and they did make the makeup payments whole on the sliding franchise fee agreement. So we were made whole on that this year, which is great. Next year is to be determined, of course. Programming's been quiet over the summer. We've been rebroadcasting music programs. We've been re-editing and repackaging some existing music programs. And we've been planning for fall sports. We did do a very nice program at Farm Breakfast Day. And we had nice coverage also of the Memorial Day ceremony in Ripon.
Thank you for that opportunity to come to the FFA Alumni Country Breakfast. And it was just an incredible amount of people from the community to be out there. Is that shared on, because that's on YouTube also, right? It was broadcast on the Ripon channel, and it's on YouTube. Have we shared it on social media too?
Yes.
Super, thank you for doing that. And I think that'll be a real nice thing to, I think that's an example of ways that we can engage with the Ripon channel in the future in the community. On that note, I think it's really pertinent that we're talking about legislative updates as well as you mentioned the farm breakfast, because at that breakfast is where I ran into our local government official, Joan Ballweg, who who brought up that she did hear from people in the Ripon area about the importance of local media, and of course she voted, she told me she voted in favor of supporting our local Ripon channel and you know, the funds that would help support local media. So that was very pertinent.
Excellent.
And thank you to those listening. If you did reach out to local government officials, it made a difference.
Anything else report-wise, Riley?
No, that's it.
No?
Is there anything you want to say with programming regarding the school years coming up for both the college and K-12, as far as your plans with working with them, or obviously athletics is continuing and things like that?
Athletics is continuing. We plan to really repeat previous years, cover music concerts and sports. And when spring rolls around, if we're invited by the school, we'll show graduation again, just as we did this year.
And theater too, correct? Was that something, or maybe there's rights to that?
Theater's trickier.
Okay.
The people, the book owners for theater productions are aggressively protective of copyright, and it's generally not allowed. There were some exceptions this year because of COVID, but as a general rule, theater just doesn't happen. We may get the Summer Players production that's going to happen at the end of August, which could be exciting. If that happens, we'll get the first performance of an original piece, and that'll be exciting. But that's not for sure yet.
Because there's a local person, right? That
Because
wrote
there's a local person, so we'll see how it shakes out.
that wrote the play,
Yes,
is it? Yep.
that's right.
Shout out to Brian Riley if you're listening.
That's awesome. Keep me updated on that.
I will.
I forgot to mention any feedback from the public, any things that we need to address, or?
No, not especially.
Nothing on social either. So.
Jumped out to discussion items, we did have some upcoming programming stuff, so I think we just hammered that out, and kind of that question that Jolene had there, so
sorry.
that's all right,
Yeah.
yeah, no problems at all. So I guess I'll turn it over to Whitney, and any social media updates and website discussion.
No, so I got all of the posts scheduled for football, so if things just didn't change, I can quickly make those adjustments, but they're all scheduled out for Facebook and Twitter for the football season, and I'm assuming that'll be the same for basketball come November and all that, right?
Sure.
Okay, or at least the analog schedule that he had sent over, I'm assuming, working that way, but other than that, just if any new updates come through, I'm happy to post them on social for that, but sent over July's social media metrics. And I'm just gonna pull up what I sent over.
If you
Mhm.
for that.
Yeah, perfect, okay. I was gonna pull up my YouTube. Sent over, so 4 new subscribers on the YouTube channel. Was pretty quiet through Facebook and Twitter, just with the stuff that we did have, I did post, but we didn't receive any new followers for Twitter or Facebook. But still continues to see pretty even as far as watch time hours go for Facebook, or for YouTube on that. But highest video was of course still the basketball, but Common Council meeting and the FFA breakfast were the next 2 up. Still getting some internal traffic from Facebook and 30% from Google, so YouTube is kind of pushing from an organic side of it, which is good to see. Still a good amount of unique users, so 654, and then 119 of them are returning to the channel. So I say we're consistent, but I think once we ramp up into the athletic side of it, I think that's where we're going to see large jumps and large numbers, which is kind of nice to see. But I need to connect with you then too from Facebook Live. If we can do both for those streaming, that would be pretty cool to see, because that would help from my Facebook side too. Yeah, I'm excited to see the potential that it'll have for Facebook. But for Twitter, kind of dropped. We had a really high number of profile visits from last month, which is crazy, but total impressions were down as well. So I think just a little bit more on the quiet side the last couple months, and that's where these metrics kind of play into that. So same for Facebook. Reach was down, and engagement was down too. So the more we can get out and share and have new content and fresh content rolling through, that's the more I can eat that up and share that. So yeah.
And I talked to Whitney earlier as well today, just kind of getting some more insight on the Twitter stuff. And the majority of the time that we're using the Twitter is when we're tagging other school districts and so they get involved with it, so we try to get the engagement. So
Yep.
I think it's still important that we, continue to roll on that kind of channel, at least engage those other communities that may be able to find out what we're doing on that. But, I went back to July's last numbers on the YouTube channel, and we would have 290 subscribers in a year. So,
Awesome.
people are buying in and digging in on it.
Yep.
That's right.
So it's.
It's
kind
a
of-
new routine and new schedule for them to
Right.
get used to, and so the more that they know we're continuously on there, I think we're gonna stay fresh in there.
But I think that's probably the driver, like, that's the biggest platform that we need to
Absolutely.
focus on the most is the YouTube stuff. Because that's where we're getting the most, and it's the only place we can track, right? So
It is.
it's the only place we get analytics.
Mhm.
So, which is important for us, I think. So-
Well, if we're successful at driving the business, if we're successful at driving it back to our own website, then we'll have even better analytics.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. If there's ways that I can help from website perspective too, I did share the metrics, but it's pretty consistent from the links, but not as high as what you see the traffic coming in from the YouTube channel, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll get anybody to log on to ripponchannel.com to exclusively look at a live, because people are gonna say,
No.
okay, we already
It's
know
the
it's on
gateway
YouTube, we're
to
gonna
it,
go
yeah.
there.
Yep.
And, it's easier to pull up as an app on, your Roku or any one of those already
Right.
as well. Any movement on the OTT creation of that, for the Roku or Apple or Fire Stick?
We need to arrange some billing,
Okay,
and that's all.
Okay.
That's what has to happen.
and that was included in that contract though, right?
It is, we get the first
Yeah.
year's included,
Okay.
yes.
And does that start from the date of creation, or does that start from the day we started purchasing this?
I think it starts from the date of purchase,
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got a couple of months into it.
yes.
So-
And the thing that we have to do is set up a billing account with Cassis. Even though we're not paying for the first year, they want a billing account before the service starts.
Sure.
Free trial, right?
So, it's the 1 year's included.
Right.
So
And
did I hear you say
they are.
it
Oh, I'm
hadn't
sorry.
started? No, I'm just to clarify, we already are in our free time period? You just asked when is it starting? And
Yeah.
So is it,
I'm pretty sure it starts when we activate.
okay,
Okay. Will we activate that OTT?
Yes.
Okay, not since we started the contract.
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
That's
perfect.
what I think.
All right.
Because then I can push it from social side of it too, just.
And I think, that needs to be a push on our analog channels as well too, saying that this is now available via Roku. I mean, we know franchise fees are important to us, but we gotta capitalize on where we can capitalize too, right?
That's
So-
exactly right,
so
because
we-
they are going away.
Right.
It just,
Right.
we just found out about that this year. We got a temporary reprieve.
Any questions for Whitney?
it seems like the connection between the chamber and you, Whitney, our social media for sharing programming and events coming up
Yeah.
has been really
Sounds
going well.
good.
It's really useful for us.
Yeah.
Question I had is, I know the city switched over to their Facebook page as well too. And I was looking at some of the users and followers, so we're at 233 for the Ripon channel, but the city of Ripon's at 573. So there's 300 more users there. Is any way that, do you want that page specifically for non-Ripon channel related information, or would you prefer to keep them separate, or would you like to share some stuff every once in a while? I'm thinking mostly council meetings, those kind of things,
Yeah,
not
that would help.
necessarily.
Yeah,
other-
it's a work in progress.
Okay,
The PD has a lot,
okay,
and we probably got a lot for the storm,
sure.
but
That's what I was wondering as well too. Not necessarily vanity likes, but we need the information.
Or just more of an outreach part of it, so we post it on ours, but that still pertains to the certain meetings, that would be great.
Right.
But we can always tag them in there as well too, right? That particular page, so that's gonna impact their users anyways, even without us sharing it, so.
Mhm.
still
Right.
engage them. So-
I wouldn't see that as a duplication of efforts, that's just additional reach.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
I could imagine us putting together a little poster, is that what you'd call it? But, you know, a post that we could ask the city if they could share that it says, you know, did you know there's a Ripon channel, you know, page that you could also follow for local media events? Maybe we could see if that's a post, if we make some content for that.
That's fine. Yeah, we can
Perhaps.
Just brought that to you.
Well, let's create it first.
Well, I don't, I'm
And
just
then-
trying to
I'll
figure.
just, I'll start, when I see the council meetings come up, I'll just start sharing them.
Okay.
I
Appreciate
can
that.
go ahead and tag too, so that way you'll get the notifications that are on there as well.
Because if I don't see them,
Yep.
I like the, but if I don't see them come up on my own, to then cue me to, then I don't do it.
Oh, I'm happy to help kind of do whatever I need to do from my end to share and tag.
Yeah, thanks for all your tagging too. And I'm also a member on the Ripon FFA alumni page. Is there anything there as far as, I think you've worked with them to tag
Mhm.
them, and if not, just let me know if you need me to reach out.
Okay.
Thanks for all that work.
Absolutely.
When we were also talking to Whitney today, we was having the issue, like if you're a subscriber of the Ripon Channel YouTube page, sometimes the notifications aren't showing up, like there's some that we're going live, so we're gonna try to determine what's going on with that, because if you're a subscriber, then you'll get a notification as soon as we go live that something's going live on there, so it depends on,
Could be a setting in
Yeah.
each of the profiles, because I would get notifications, just like actual banners on my phone that saying the Ripon channel's going live, or the count is going live, or this video is just posted, so there has to be something that had been changed.
yeah. And everybody might not have a lot on their device, you know, you can turn those things off pretty
No.
easily, but.
But if you want to see them and you're not getting the notifications, that's where it's like, well, okay, something's missing.
Anything you'd like to see addition to the website? Is there anything, you know, graphically or design-wise that you've come across that would enhance or help?
I
with this?
think just immediate links to the YouTube channel if we could, and I don't know, this is maybe a plugin or something like that, but if there's options where we are going live and that would feed on the actual website as well, that would be an awesome addition, but I don't know logistically how that could work, but it would be good to at least have something.
I think there's a Facebook Live app for those pages too, so we might be able to run it
Once
from.
it gets connected.
Once it gets connected, you might be able to run
Yeah.
it that way, so.
Doesn't hurt to have just those extra links there. I know from a front, the homepage perspective, you don't want to bog it down too much just from the loading. So I think if there's a way to have just a button or something like that, maybe from a live stream that they can immediately go into it, I think that's where I could see an adjustment being made from my end. But everything links to all the playlist channels on the YouTube channel, so no concerns there, because every time it's updated and tagged into that playlist, it'll show up at the top part too, so. Yeah.
Any other comments or thoughts or Whitney?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, appreciate it. Is there anything you need tech-wise or from the school district or things like that as we move forward for the season? Other schools, listening things and.
I've had the conversation about a hard line in the gym a few times, but the last time it came up was at graduation. So it's time to reinforce that so that there's plenty of time before basketball for it to happen. Right now, there's even a couple of weeks left of summer, so that's just, I just need to send, I need to send Travis an email and ask him about it again.
No problem. Do we want to meet in September, or are we looking to October for our next one, kind of alternating months? I don't know if there's anything pressing that we need to, we kind of got through the legislative stuff still. I don't know if we need any updates or
I don't-
pushes on those things, so.
I think the budget's skinny enough that all the other things we were talking about probably need to be shoved aside for a while,
Okay.
so. unless you on the committee see a need, I don't see a need.
So October.
Yeah.
If we don't meet in September, I think I'd personally like to hear an update around that time about a follow-up on the Roku, on the Fire Stick, on the situation
Okay.
on where that's at. So maybe that can
Okay.
be done perhaps through email, I don't know if that's appropriate.
And I think in Riley, I mean, if, I would have no problem if you just wanted to send out once a month, like typically that second Monday of the month, just kind of an update of what's going on. And even if we meet that month, we don't meet that month, we at least still have that information in front of us so we can, be prepared for whatever's next for it. So maybe just a manager's report or however your director's report.
That's a great idea.
That you could send out to us once a month that says, here's what we're working on, here's what's in the hopper kind of things. So, and here's what we need, or here's what we're looking at, so I think that would be great. I do want to just compliment everybody that's been on this committee for the last couple of years and been working towards, what this committee has become and how we've really kind of transitioned from being just a cable-only channel to pushing it forward to where we are now and being out there as much as we can. So it's a good testament that everybody's work here, so thanks for that.
And to your leadership.
And we're just trying to make all good stuff, right? Just trying to get content out there for everybody, so that's the key. So it's been super helpful. And I think we're doing a good job of it, so. You don't find too many systems like this in other communities, throughout the area here, so it's been good, so.
We are unique here.
Yeah. So, anything else for the good of the group?
Seeing that we do have sort of someone special joining us that isn't always here, our city administrator, is there anything, do we want to ask? I don't know if it's appropriate to ask if there's anything that Adam would like to share at this time, or if that's something that it's appropriate to
Sure.
add.
I can add it to the agenda, for moving on out too.
No. Do you want me to add anything? Like right now about what? No, we had talked about a show, there's just, let me breathe a little here.
Mhm.
So, but I think it's something that around budget time, we might do something special, I gotta work that out with Riley. And then from the legislative perspective, yeah, so you guys, last time you met, you passed a resolution. It then was taken to the Common Council, the Common Council passed it, we forwarded it on to the state legislators and all that, and then, through Riley emailing me, and then me emailing representation at the Capitol, the state budget did everybody a favor, so as much as you think it's funny, last time we met, you passed a resolution, and it was the first time you'd ever sent anything, really.
Right.
It made a difference on some level, so I think just continuing to look for those opportunities as they come about are important. But yeah, that's it, I don't have anything else.
I just think we need to be aware as we move forward that, we know that these franchise fees are probably gonna be dwindling away, right?
They're
And we-
scheduled to
right.
go to zero.
So we've got to find a way to make sure that we can still support this organization and the community media.
And right. My understanding is that the state, at the beginning of the program, the state promised to ramp up its support to maintain the municipalities at the baseline, at the beginning baseline. But even if the state manages to follow through completely on that promise, that still means that at the end of the 10-year period, it falls off a cliff.
And you already see we have one payment in, and it was just shy of $19,000 with a license fee budget of $103,000. That's 18%. If the 19,000 holds true, we'll be about 20% short in our estimated revenues for the year.
That's right.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal, and I have to highlight it. Circles right back around and shows the importance of the beginnings, what we have the beginnings of with hometown broadcasting and the need to expand our own efforts through whatever mechanism.
Yeah. Still waiting to set up a call to action on our Facebook page where you just donate. Is that something you look at from moving forward?
Well, if we
It
can,
was the Jason Mansmith Drive every year, hosted by
Not saying that, not by any means, but
Telethon hosted
a simple
live.
click that says, hey, you can donate to the Ripon channel.
You have the voice for it.
well, that's a situation where if we can properly arrange the mechanism for the money to go to the right place with the click, we can do that.
And they send those out quarterly, work with another organization that does have that. And so they'll let you know that, okay, you got a deposit coming for a certain amount, and they do that every quarter for you. So, you never know what you might be able to generate out of it, so. If people are looking, if they enjoy it, and if they're, want to support, don't want to turn down any of that underwriting opportunity, so.
$10 gets us broad employment.
There you go, right, exactly. All right, we are scheduled to meet then October 11th, 2021, 4 PM. Any other discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn our meeting.
I'll second. How's that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Amanda. Have yourself a great day. We are adjourned.